Hi everyone, welcome to my live video. Forgive me because this is my first time doing a live stream off of YouTube. I want everyone to know that by watching this video, you will learn how to not only visualize your data, but to illustrate your data. So by the time we end, your data will have more meaning and more feeling. So let's get started, and hopefully you will enjoy what I have to share. Making data more understandable is not very easy when you're stuck to charts, gauges, and tables. Before I continue on, can you hear me okay out there? Let's do a sound check. So give me at least 1 minute to verify that you are seeing this live stream. So try that again. Can you hear me out there? Give me a thumb up or something so I know that you are getting this video. Okay, I got a message from Kenton that the sound is good. I got a message from Allison that the sound is good. Okay, good. At least I know I'm not talking out into the twilight zone. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, like I said before, after you work so hard on your projects, um, you probably spend a lot of time in developing the code. You spend a lot of time wiring the hardware, and then you got it working, whatever that project might be. But then when it comes to presenting the data coming from your device, that's when you start to feel more confined, where you're confined to displaying your data either raw, which is very difficult to decipher, or you can display your data using charts, tables, and gauges. But if you try to share that project, maybe with your friends, or maybe with your wife, or someone else who doesn't quite understand the amount of effort that you put into your project, and you show them, yeah, look at this, look what I did. Look what this can do. Look at my gauges. Look at my tables. Look at my charts. They're not going to be very excited about your project. But what if, instead of visualizing your data, if you could illustrate your data? So as we go through, keep in mind that with this platform, you can now illustrate your data. Someone asked me, can you do home automation? You sure can. That would be a piece of cake with this, and you will see what I mean. There was another person who had a project, let me bring it up, and this individual used a particle to do basically a moisture sensor for their plants. So let me pull it up here. Okay, so in this project, you can see that they are using the particle to develop a plant sensor, a plant moisture sensor. And you can tell that a lot of work went into this project. Um, but look at the way that they're presenting the data. So basically, you have a gauge with a needle, and that needle points to whether the moisture is good or bad in the plant, which is not bad. It looks pretty presenting. But can we take this to the next step? Can we push it even further so that the person who is looking at your data does not have to make any type of deciphering, trying to figure out, does this data mean that things are good? Or does this data mean that things are okay? Or does this mean that the data is trying to tell me, hey, something is wrong? My plant is in danger because the dirt is too dry. So we will see how that we can change this presentation into something that means even more to the observer of your data. Okay, so presently people have tools that they can use with the particle to display their data. You probably heard of these. One is called Blink. Another one is called Grafana. So these are services that you can either use free if you're not using much data throughput, or you can pay for them. That is kind of cool that you can do that, but they take a lot of time to configure, and it's not quite transparent with the protocol with the particle cloud. So there's some finagling that you have to do and testing, but then after you do all of that, you have to pay a fee. Then after you pay a fee, your data still is lacking. I mean, the visualization is good, but it's still lacking where it doesn't give that wow factor. Okay, so starting today, I think with most people who have a particle device, they will be able to give their data that wow factor. Okay, let me see. Okay, so let me go through the steps that are needed to be able to use my new plugin. Now, I'm not too sure how many of you are familiar with WordPress. Are any of you familiar with WordPress? Can you tell me um, if you are? Okay, so I'm checking now to see if any of you are familiar with WordPress. Okay, so anyone out there familiar with WordPress? It looks like, okay, so you're starting to use WordPress. Okay, so let me explain a little bit about WordPress. Okay, so WordPress, um, matter of fact, let me see here. I think I have, let's see. Okay, so for some reason I lost it. That's okay. Okay, so I was going to show you a screenshot of about WordPress. Okay, so WordPress is a open source software, okay, and is used to build 33% of the websites in the world. 33% of the websites are running on WordPress. So WordPress is called a content management system. It got started for bloggers mostly, but then it kind of transformed to where now it suits everyone. It can be used for e-commerce. It can be used like for blogs. It can be used for corporations. So it has basically diverse into many fields. Now, WordPress, just to explain a little bit how it works, is that it comes with a database that's run with PHP code. And so with that, there is a front end to this program and a back end. Okay, in the back end, we call it the administration settings. So in the back end, you're able to configure users' access to your website. You can configure the look and feel of the website. There are various themes, so you can change the look and feel of the look and feel of your website. Maybe you are a website that has a bakery, so you want to give it more of a colorful look to your website. You just change the theme. Or maybe if you are doing e-commerce, well, the same thing. You want to be able to process orders and handle checkout areas. Well, a theme can do that. So you can think of a theme, I think of it as like a Barbie. So the Barbie doll itself is WordPress. The clothes that the Barbie doll wears is the theme. So maybe Barbie is cooking that day, so she's wearing an apron and so forth. Or maybe Barbie's at a construction site, so maybe she's wearing a hard hat and jeans and so forth. Or maybe she's going out to a dance. Well, she'd be dressing up. So it'd be more of a fashion statement she'd be making with her dress. So think of the different um, attire as the theme of WordPress. Now, the reason why I chose WordPress is that not many people know this. I used to be a food blogger. And as a food blogger, I had to build my own website and so forth. So I use WordPress. It's very common. And then since I am also a software developer and a hardware developer, I say, you know what? I can bridge these two so that more people can get access to these tools that don't really have access to them, that they don't have access to the tools like they have now with the hardware. So let me show you, okay, um, to also explain that WordPress is free. I'm not just sure I brought that up, okay. Okay, so right now I'm going to show you a little bit about WordPress by going through some of the screens so that you can kind of see how it operates. Okay, so right now I'm going to bring up WordPress. Just give me a second here. I just before this, the reason why the live stream was delayed, I got a computer error, so I had to rebuild everything. It's so frustrating um, when you do encounter these type of things just before you go live. But let me see. And I'm not the type of person who can talk and operate at the same time. So, okay, so let me get this here started. Okay, so basically, I'm running. Okay, so you can run WordPress in two different ways. You can run it locally on your desktop machine, or you can run it on a server. And we'll talk about that. And this is, we call it it's a hosting service. And so by doing that, that means that anyone in the world can get access to seeing your data that's being put out by your particle devices. Okay. Okay, so I'm almost there. And when I get there, you will lose me, but you will see the picture of my screen. So you still hear my voice. I did have it at one time as picture in picture, but when my computer messed up, I lost that. So I have to apologize for that. Okay, so here we go. I guess my computer is slow because it's streaming YouTube video as well as trying to do my presentation on the same machine. Okay. Okay, so right now you should see my, okay, we call this the back end of WordPress. So right now you see the admin of you see the administration section of WordPress. Okay, so let me, okay, so this is called the dashboard of WordPress. So to get this working, like I said before, you can install it on your desktop or you can install it on a server that's, we call it a hosting server. Now, you probably heard of outfits like Bluehost or GoDaddy. Okay, those things are hosting services, and that's what you would do. You would go to them to host your WordPress site. Now you're wondering, how much is that going to cost? Well, if you start at the bottom plan, which is all you need for doing what I'm trying to do here, it roughly runs between $6 and $10 a month, and that's the only fee that you would have to pay, and that's basically just to host your your WordPress site. And to install WordPress, I would say most hosting services have like a one-click install. So after you sign up, they will give you a welcome screen. You click on it, and one click, okay, it's installed. Okay, so I'm gonna start moving a little bit faster because I know it's probably this drop. This um, is I'm trying drawing this out, but I want to get through to what I want to show you so that you would be excited of this new tool. Okay, so like I said, this is the back end. Now I'm going to go into the application. Okay, now so WordPress allows you to install plugins on top of it, and the plugins can change the function of your website. And there are over 1,000 something plugins. There are quite a few plugins. I mean, there's a plugin for everything you can think of except for tying in your hardware. So this is the first time that I know of that a plugin was devised so that you can plug in particle hardware. So let's get to the plugin. So right now my plugin is a is in the beta form and is right here. This is the plugin and it's written by me. You can see that here. So at this point now, I'm going to bring up a page. Now a page is like different pages of a website. Okay, I'm going to add a new page. Okay, and this will basically give me a clean slate of a web page. So on this web page, let's title it. Let me see. Let's say SVG Fun. Okay, so I titled it SVG Fun. Okay, so now, um, okay, so now this is something new to WordPress. It's called blocks. So blocks allows you to configure any element in live time. This is something that is new for WordPress. You will see what I mean. Okay, so I'm going to click on this plus. Okay, and then my block is called SVG Click. We'll click on SVG Click. Now, what we're going to do is that I'm going to actually bring up a home plan that I got from a user. And it was a house plan that he wanted to automate. Okay, so what we do is we say upload SVG, and we choose the SVG. This is the house plan we want, and we choose select. Now this image that he sent me as an SVG image is now in WordPress as a page. So if you were to go to this page, you would see these house plans there. Okay. Later on, I will give you the opportunity to access these pages on live, so you know This is no fake. This is the real deal here. Okay. Okay. So for instance, let me explain a little bit about this image. Now let me see. Let me just check to make sure. Okay. Okay. So can everyone see me? Can everyone see that web page of the house plan? So can you see the web page of the house plan? Okay, good. I got a message from one individual that they can see the house plans. Okay. Okay. So in these house plans, we can look at the indexes of all of these components. So in HTML, there's an index for each component. Basically, it's like an ID. Okay, so let's go to, okay, so let's go to here and here. Okay, so with this tool, I can take a look at different elements of the house plans. Okay, so I'm going to look at, let's do a very simple one first. Okay, so let's take a look at this light right here. Okay, I take a look at it, and I can see that it's labeled Light Kitchen 1 right here. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to close this off. Okay, and then in this tool here, this side of the panel, which we call the inspector panel, allows me to configure this image so that I can add active components to it so that it can behave in different ways as I want them to. Okay, now the behavior is based upon the data coming from your particle. Okay, so let's go here. I put in the ID for the kitchen, and then I'll have it talk to light number 1. Light number 1. Okay, and then I'm gonna make it as an add-on off click. Now, if you notice, you see that that light bulb turned red. At this point, that that image will send will send data to your particle, and this is all happening in the background. Okay, so let me click on it. Okay, so now you can see that it actually activated a light. So let me show you my demonstration board so you can see what it did. And I'm going to click the light off and on. Okay, so right now, hopefully you can see this. This is a board that I built using the particle photon, and that green light is tied to that button on the screen. So let me see if I can. Let me see if I can put the screen on top of this. Okay, so I didn't want that one. Let's remove that one. Okay, let's add another one here. Create, cancel. Add window capture. Okay, I want an existing one. So it's capture 2. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now you can see the screen, and also you can see the board. Okay, so let me go back. Okay, so I'm going to click on the light again. Okay, you notice that it went out on the board and also it turned red in the house plans. And so you're probably wondering, how is this done? How is this possible? Well, let me explain shortly how this all works. Okay, so the program that's running in the plugin is communicating with the particle cloud. Okay, and this is all happening in the background. Now, the image that you see, okay, of the house plan is an SVG image. That means that I can use JavaScript and CSS to control the image. So based upon the activities of the user, then that image will change, based upon what they do. But at the same time, I read the data from the particle photon so that the indicator matches the state of the particle. Okay, so okay, so it looks like I lost my camera, which is what I was afraid of. But the camera has a timeout feature on it that won't allow me to turn off. Okay, so this is kind of explaining a little bit how easy it is to be able to add features to your images. And this is just a house plan. Now, what I'm going to do now is add another feature, and that is the fan. Okay, so the fan on the board, okay, is controlled by the particle on one of the data pins, and I think I have it on D. Let's see, it's on D. Uh, let's see. Okay, so it's on D5, the fan. Okay, so let me bring up my notes. Let's see here, and okay, bring up my notes here. Okay, so according to my notes, the ID for this fan is this. Okay, that's the ID for the fan. Okay, then I need to get the register, or so basically on the particle you have functions, and so the data to read for this variable is tied to a function that reads it from an array, and so I need to get that array value, and let's see. Okay, so the fan is on L4. Okay, and in here you can see that I'm using analog write and analog read to get that data. Okay, and so analog read and write is used with the parameters of L4, and L4 will control the fan. Okay, so let me go ahead and I'll assign this to a click event. Okay, you don't see anything happening. And so for me to toggle the fan off and on, I need to assign the fan to a switch. So let me do that. Let's assign it to one of these buttons here. Okay, so we do the same thing. We need to find the ID. You go here. Let me see. Assign it to. Okay, well, let's assign it to this one. Okay, it's called light bedroom 1. So I copy that. I put it here. And now that's light bedroom 1. And I want an L4. So I want it to control the same parameter. Okay. Then I assign it to a click event. Okay. So you can see that it turned red. Okay. So when I click in this, you will see the fan spinning. So keep your eye on the fan that's on the board. Is the one with the white dot. Okay. So you notice that it's flashed, it turned green, and the fan is spinning. Okay. Now I'm going to click it off, and you see that turning red. And when it turns red, the fan will stop. Okay. Okay. Now, if you notice that I have a picture of a fan actually on the house plan, wouldn't it be neat if we could spin that fan? Well, let's do that. Let's actually spin this fan. Okay. So to spin this fan, what we need to do is tie that image to the same parameter as we did for the button, which is the same one that controls the fan. Okay, so let me get my cheat notes here. Okay, so the ID for that fan for this image is called fan where part. Okay, and we want it to be L4. That'd be all the same. Now, what's neat about this program, you can control images on a web page by using CSS. Okay, so basically CSS applies style to a element on your web page. So what if we assign a new CSS class that tells that element to spin? And that's what we're going to do. Then we have to have another CSS class to tell that element to stop spinning. And that's what we're going to do. Okay, so the class that I have is called Broda class. That's what I'm sign on. And then to turn it off, basically I want it to basically remove the class. So I can just say none. Okay. And we want a 0 and 1. I'll explain about those later. And this will recall it as an action. Okay. So now when I click on this, that image should spin. Okay. So right now you can see that the fan is spinning based upon the parameter of L4. So all of these components are now all tied to L4. Okay, hopefully I'm not losing you there, and then I can turn it off again by clicking on it, and then the fan will stop. So now the visual of your house plan basically matches what's happening in the real world coming from your controlled devices. You no longer have to figure out, is the fan on or off? And maybe you have like a color that says, well, when the color is red, the fan is off. When the color is green, the fan is on. Now you don't need to have any of that stuff because now you can actually control the image to mimic what's actually happening in the real world. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now let's move on to other things that are also common to most that are most common to most dashboards, and that is graphs and charts and so forth. So let's briefly go through that. So now what I'm going to go do is I'm going to create a new page. I'm going to add a new page. So this is creating a new page on the website. I'm going to call it let's call it chart. Okay. Then I'm going to add a chart. So down here, you can choose the different tools that you want. And so this is the tool for the chart. So right away, we have a picture of a pink chart. Okay, now, so for this here, okay, so the chart is actually looking at a variable that's coming from your photon. Okay, so the variable I wanted to read is a temperature. Okay, and so for me, my temperature is SVG temp 1. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to say read variable SVG temp 1. As soon as I put it in, it's going to start to collect the data. Okay, and let's see what's going on here. Okay, so it's not behaving the way I expect it to. I'm trying to figure, did I choose the wrong one? Let's see. Okay, the gauge, let's put in the temp. It looks like because the application running in the background is responding way too slow. Let's see. So that's working. You can see the title is changing. Let's go back to here. Let me show you the other feature. Let's say that I wanted to change the color. So to change the color of the chart, I can just choose these buttons down here. And let's go to preview. Okay. So this is what the chart would look like on the web page, and this is what the gauge would look like on the web page. But right now, it's not able to read the data. Okay. Oh, I think I might know why. Okay. Okie dokie. Okay, so let's go back to the plant. Okay. Remember I started out the presentation saying that there are okay, the project was that they wanted to do a plant soil to check the moisture in the soil, and all they had was that gauge. What can we do to make it more appealing? So let me pull up a of a plant. So I'm going to add a new page. Okay, let's call this plant plant one. Okay, and then we are going to add another SVG image. Let's say upload image. Okay, so here's a picture of 3 plants. Wouldn't it be neat if we're able to actually control this image based upon the data that is received? Now you see a number in each box. Okay, so that number could represent the moisture content of the soil that's in that particular pot. That'd be cool, right? To be able to update that number. What if we could change the color of the pot based upon whether if it's in a safe zone or is in like, well, you know, it needs attention, or if we can indicate, hey, this is in deep trouble. I mean, this plant is about ready to die. Wouldn't it be neat to be able to do that visually? And then same thing, maybe we can change the appearance of the leaves to show that, hey, the moisture is really low, you know, or we can show the appearance of the leaves to show that, hey, this plant got too much water. It is drowning. Okay, so right now, if we took a look at this, okay, this does not tell us anything about the. Let me increase the size of this screen here. Uh, okay, so now you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so looking at this here won't tell you anything about, you know, if the plant's really in danger visually. It takes some reading. You got to read the gauge. Okay. So let me bring up a web page that I did earlier. Okay. Okay, so right away, you notice that the 3 pots have numbers in them. Okay, so these numbers are coming from, let me see if I can get my main camera back up again so that you can tell that these numbers are coming from 3 different temperature probes. And I'm using a temperature probe because it's easy for me to control temperature than it is for me to control the moisture. Okay, so let me do that. Just give me 30 seconds. Okay, so I got my main camera back on. Um, so, so I got my main camera back on so that you can see the temperature probes. So let me go to here and here, and let me see. Let's make a new scene here. Let's pull up this scene, and we need to bring the camera back on. So we go to here, we go to here, and here. Not that one. Okay. So here, here. Okay, we have to go back to here. Almost there. Let's delete that one. We don't want that one. Okay, and we don't want that one. Okay. You should see my window here real soon. Okay, here we go. So now you got me back. Let me fit this back into the screen. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. This is all new for me. I'm an amateur when it comes to this live stream stuff. Okay, so now you got me back on your screen, and hopefully this will last at least until the end, because we'll be ending here pretty soon. And hopefully I'm still in focus. Okay, so what I wanted to show you are the probes. Okay, I know you've seen these everywhere. Okay, so this is a temperature probe, and I have they're like the Dallas something. I think they're the DS series. Let me see, trying to bring up the other two in here. Let me see without yanking my board out. I can barely see it in the image. Okay, and I can see at the bottom of the screen there. I'm trying to bring into view, but these are the three. I have three of them. Okay, I wanted to show that I have three of them. But there you go. So you can see that I have three in my hand. Then what I have is a glass of ice water. Matter of fact, I'm thirsty. Okay, and then I have some hot water here. So by putting these probes into the different containers, I can change the temperature of the probes. And as the temperature changes, notice how the appearance of the plants change also with that. Okay, and so remember the numbers inside each pot are the numbers of the temperature that I'm reading from the probes. Okay, so let's do this. Let me see. I'm getting daring here. So I don't want that one. This is what we want. Okay, so now I'm going to add myself to here. No, yeah, existing. And I think it's capture 2. No, not capture 2. Okay. Window. Let's say capture 1. Okay, so now you can see me there again. Let me put me down here. Okay. Okay, so now let me add the image back up to here, to the pots. So right now the pots are talking to the temperature probes. So each of these temperatures is coming from the probe. Okay, I want everyone to understand. I will show you what I'm doing. Okay, so that there looks good. Let's go ahead and click here. Okay, hopefully you can see all of this so that you know that I'm not making this stuff up. Okay, so we have 3 probes here. Okay, this is my longest probe. So this one here, I know you can see. Okay, so I'm going to put this into the warm water, and this probe is probe number 1. So it'd be the leftmost pot. Okay, so I'm going to put this in warm water. So as the temperature goes up, you can think of that as that the moisture is going up into the pot. Notice what happens to the image. Okay. Hopefully this water is still warm enough. Okay, so you can see me putting it inside here. Okay, did you see what happened? Okay, so the temperature went up, and if you notice that the leaves shrivel, okay. Boy, the water must be still pretty warm. Got up to 140. Whew. I didn't think it was going to get. I didn't know the water could stay that warm. Okay, so now you can tell. Hey, I know what's going on. That plant is dying. The pot turned red, and then also the leaves are shriveled. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the next pot, which is the middle pot, and I have some ice water that I'm going to put that probe into. Okay, so let's go to that one. Okay, so this is my ice water. I'm going to put that probe that's in the middle, and notice what happens to the temperature. Okay, this is going to drop the temperature fast because this is ice water. Okay. Okay, so there again, you can see what happened. The because of the temperature dropping, okay, and dropped it pretty fast down to 40, 45. It shows too that that pot is in trouble. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is raise the temperature to that pot by putting it into warm water again. Okay, and let's see what happens to the plant. So you can tell me if this is better than the gauge. So the temperature here is going to climb. Okay, and this is so that you know what's happening is that in the inspector panel that I show you in the back end of the WordPress site, in there, I told it that when the value is above, I think I said above 75, okay, to change the image of the plant. And then when the value is below, I think it's 55, to change the the image when the value is below 55. Okay, so so if you notice, the other plant recovered back to health. Okay, and so whoop, you see the leaves pop back up, and now it's showing it to be 96. Okay, so the temperature dropped. Okay, so it's saying, hey, I'm out of trouble, but I'm still not quite there yet. You know, I'm still in the danger zone. Okay, so as the temperature drops, you see the pot turning green. Okay, so oh, they got too hot. They got up to 145. So it went from went from icy cold to being too hot. I was trying to get it in the middle. Didn't quite get it there. Let's try this. Put the middle one in cold water. Let's drop that temperature down again. It's kind of hard to get the temperature that you want. So this to explain. Okay, so the data is not instantaneous. Okay, so you can see that I kind of it. Okay, if it goes below 55, I think it is, it's going to be in the danger zone again. But right now, it's it's okay. Okay, so so you can see that the middle plant, it went from being sick to being probably too healthy in the sense that it had too much moisture, and now it's at the ideal moisture. So basically, it's in between the range that I said, okay, you're in good condition, so don't modify the image. Okay, now let's go to the third plant just to complete this picture since it is there. Okay, so that's on another temperature probe. Okay, so let's see. Let's put this one. Let's drop the temperature of this one. Okay, let's do that. We put this one here. We'll put this one here in ice water. Okay, let's see what happens when the third plant goes into ice water. The whole time it was in good condition. Okay, it takes a little bit of time here, a little bit of patience, but we can't go wrong here because this is an improvement over just having a gauge. Okay, there we go. Whoop! Got one leaf down, one leaf up, one leaf down. See, you can have some fun with this. So I think you got the point now when it comes to what you can do with your presentation. So you tell me, do you prefer this or uh, come on, or do you prefer this? Okay, so now not only are you visualizing your data, but you are illustrating your data. Your data now tells a story. What, when, why. Okay, so it's telling you that story through the image that's being shown to the observer. So if you had a spouse or someone who's not highly technical and or someone who just wants to know the answer quick, you can do that now with this program. You can modify your image to whatever your heart's desire. If you can see it on the website, on any website, then you can replicate that with this program. You can think of this program as a video game, okay, but the participant is playing it through a human. But instead of the participant being a human, the participant is your particle device. And based upon the data coming from your particle, it's playing the game on the website. And based upon that data, it's able to manipulate any image, even add sound, okay, to a web page. I mean, to me, this is very exciting because this has never really been done before where a user like you and me who are do-it-yourselfer have limitations. We can't spend thousands of dollars for an outfit to design these things for us. Now we can do it ourselves. Okay, so let's move on. Okay. Uh, okay. So let's return back to the house plan. Okay, I think you're gonna like this. Okay, so let's pull up the house plan. I call it home automation. Okay, so here's the house plan. Now let me overlay this house plan with the board so you can see that the two are communicating. Okay, this is talking to your particle device through the cloud. This is not a make-believe thing. This is actually happening. Okay, this is happening in real time. Okay, so let me get that screen up. And I think it was this one. There we go. So now you can see both. Okay. Okay. So now remember, this screen that you see here can be replicated hundreds of times. Let's say that it's in your home. There's two ways you can do it. You can put like a panel, okay, maybe some type of iPad or whatever you want on a wall, and then you have this screen running on that device. Or you can be on a mobile device where that once you enter your home, you're able to link to the home automation or to the server that's hosting your site. Another way, like I told you through WordPress, is designed for corporations and everything. So you can actually assign users different permissions. This user can look at this screen or this user can modify this screen. You have full control. And I mean, it's hard for me to express, the diversity you have with WordPress. I mean, you can change the appearance of your site. Right now, these are white screens, basically a white background. They're vanilla screens. Okay, but you can change the background to hearts if you want, or you can change it to more of a racing scene. You can change it to a vintage theme. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Okay, so let's go on and let me explain about this. So this one here, I actually did all the IDs and signed all the links so that you can understand what's happening. Okay, so first, let's talk about the lights. Okay, so lights can be either controlled by a wall switch or it can be controlled by a touch panel like this. Okay, so let me make sure that you can see this before I go through this. I'm gonna go all through this and then you don't see anything. Yeah, it'd be neat if I can. Let me see if I can add myself to this to make this a little bit more interesting. So I can go here, uh, here, and here, here, here. Okay, okay, and I'll put me. I'll put me someplace so I don't block the view too much. I'll put it. I have to make me kind of small so I don't block too much. There we go. Okay. There we go. Hopefully that helps out. I'm getting close to the end here, so hold on here. Okay. Oops. Get my screen back. There we go. Okay, so right here I have a picture of a house plan. Okay, first, as I said before, we have lights. Okay, so we have this light right here that's in the middle of the kitchen. Okay, you can see it here on the board. Okay, so I'm going to click on that and watch what happens to the light on the board. This here flashes. Okay, it didn't get the first click, so try it again. Oh, there we go. It is a long delay. Okay, so the light in the kitchen came on, if you notice. Okay, then let me turn it off again. I'll click on it. And this will let you know when the light is pulsating, it means that it's sending a message to the Photon cloud and is waiting for a response to come back to confirm that it got that new state. Okay, so let me click on it again. Okay, so it's taking time. You know the light goes out before I get the state because that's more instantaneous when this has to communicate through the cloud. So there's there is a delay there. Okay, now if you notice that I have a switch here, and I think you can see that. Let me check this and make sure it's in the image. Yes, it is. Okay. So I'm going to click on this switch and notice that same light. What happens? Notice the display on the screen and notice the display in my presentation. Okay. It turned on. Okay. If you notice. Now it should turn on here too. Unless I said it. There we go. It was a long lag. I don't know why it took so long, but like I said, this computer is trying to process YouTube videos and streaming. It's doing all of that at the same time as well as trying to run this presentation. Somehow in the future, I'm going to have to be able to use multiple computers and tie it all together instead of doing it this way. This way here, it does not work for me. Okay, so I'm going to turn the switch off again and notice the display here and also notice the display on the screen. That same light. That light should turn red. They're ready to turn off there, and you notice it turned off there. So to me, that's pretty neat. So this is a real application that's ready to go. Okay, when it comes to home automation. Now let's do more here. Now we have this fan. Okay, so we want to turn the fan on. At the same time, we want to see this turn on, and we want to see the fan spin. Now I have the fan, I think, tied to this switch. So when that turns green, you should see the fan. So the fan started spinning on the board, and the fan, okay, on the screen also started spinning. So right away, you can tell what's going on. You can tell, okay, the fan is running. You don't have to worry about, well, what does the light mean? You know, what does a 1 or a 0 mean? Does it mean the fan is on or off? No, look, you can actually see it. Okay, so that's at the same time, let's also turn that fan off. So I click on the switch here, okay. So it turned red, the fan stopped spinning, and the fan on the board also stopped. Hey, you can't beat that, right? Okay, so now if you know that there's a car in the garage, I have a proximity sensor here, okay. So notice what happens when I back up this car and the car that's on the screen. Did you see the car back out of the garage? Hey, so you cannot, a person cannot say, well, I don't understand what your data mean. I mean, I don't understand this image. They can visually see what's going on. Okay, now let's park the car back into the garage and see what happens. Okay, I hope that you're excited as I am, because as far as I know, we're not stuck now to some graphics that someone else designed that we were confined in. Now we can design our own graphics. Okay, so you saw the car move back into the garage. Okay, so another thing that I did is that if you notice that the front door is open. Why is it open? Well, that door is actually controlled by another switch. Let's say you have a contact switch at the front door. Okay, it sends a signal to your photon, and then your photon will send a signal to the cloud, and this program will read the results to visually show if the door is open or closed. And I think I got that tied to the bedroom switch. So look what will happen to that front door when I click this here off. Did you see the front door close? Okay, so it'd be easy. Someone can look at this and say, hey, yeah, I can see what's happening. The front door is open. They don't have to worry about, oh, what is a red bar over a green bar? Does it mean it's open or does it mean it's closed? Now you're illustrating your data. Your data is telling a story. What, when, why. Okay, so no one doesn't have to figure out what's going on. Now let's play with that again and watch the door open. Okay, there you go. The front door open. Okay, so I think you kind of get the idea. Now there's one thing that you probably didn't notice or looked at. Look at the upper right corner of the screen. Okay, right here. I have the temperature here. It says 70 degrees. That temperature is reading in real time. Not only can we control graphics, but we can also control displays. So you can display any value you want. Right now it's saying it's reading 70. I'm going to put that probe, which is also tied to probe number one. Let me see, where are you? It's the longest one, so it's this probe right here. I'm going to put this one here into ice water and watch that number. Okay, so you can see right here, I have the probe in the ice water. It takes a little bit of time. It's not instantaneous. I don't think for a, oh, did you see it? It dropped down to 43. I have both hands up here, okay? I did not touch anything on the keyboard. So now you know that this is reading in real time. And as far as I know, there aren't anything like this where you have a piece of software that communicates to the particle cloud and you're able to control any image. Now, let me explain a little bit about the images so you have a little bit of idea of what's going on here. Okay, so these images are called SVG, which stands for Scalable Vector Graphics. Okay, so these images are actually drawn by a whole bunch of mathematical numbers and and um, and elements. So the image is actually a document, a text document. Okay, let me show you one of them so that you can kind of see. I think this will, okay, I got to do it this way because they won't allow me to show it that way. Okay, so if you look here, okay, if you look here, this is actually a section of let me see, no, no. Okay, that did not work. I have to show it to you this way. Okay. I gotta open it in Chrome. Okay, so this is the picture of the plant. Okay, so this one here is not controlled by the particle. It's just an image. Okay, so now I can go into here and I can display the source. Okay, and so you can see it's a bunch of coordinates, x and y coordinates, and it's a bunch of numbers along with elements. And what's neat here, so this is saying that this is leaf 2. In leaf 2, by using a program, I can change the color of that image. Okay, so I don't. So basically, the program that I wrote manipulates this document. Okay, it goes in and edits the document and say, "Hey, I want the color to change." Oh, wait a minute. You know what? That element, I want you to rotate it down, and that's what I did with the leaves in the pots. Also, I did the same thing with the fan. I told it, you know what? I want you to take this element, okay, that's in this document, and I want to rotate it. So I apply, it's called a CSS transform to the element, okay, and that caused that caused the fan to spin. Okay, so let me see here. Okay, so that basically covers everything. I hope you're excited as I am. Now, one thing to keep in mind, like I said before, this has no limitation to data throughput. Most services will say, hey, you can send so many bytes per minute and that's it. And if you go over that, then you're going to have to pay more. Okay, this one here, there's no data limit. Okay, also too, there are no fees for WordPress. Okay, and the only thing that I can think of that would be really of an ongoing charge is hosting service. If you want to have this here available to someone, you want to have this available to someone else to see. Now to say that, now since there's not too many here, I think I'm okay. Let's cut this out. Let's cut that out. Okay, let's go to here. Now, do you see this link right here? Can you read that link? Um, Let me know if you can. Type that link into a Chrome browser. Okay, can someone do that? Can one? If you're on the desktop, I want you to type the link to. I want you to enter that link into a Chrome browser. Okay, and you got to have a mouse. I'm not just sure this will work with a touch pad or something, because I don't have that event tied to the page yet. But if you are on a Chrome desktop or computer with a mouse, I want you to go ahead and enter that link. Let me see if it's visible enough for you guys to see. Oh, okay. Sorry. I need to bring up that screen. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Okay. Now, can you see that link? Is it big enough where you can see it, or where you can see it clear enough? It's a www. Okay. Dot IoT mycloud.com. Okay. Then backward slash. I'm sorry. Forward slash home hyphen automation. I'm not sure if anyone can pull it up there. Let me see. So Mag, can you see it now? Can you see that link, or is it too hard to see? Yeah, can you see that link? Let me see if I can make it bigger. I might be able to make it bigger. I don't know if it's gonna make it bigger or only. Nah, it isn't. Let me see. How can I make that bigger? It looks like someone is controlling the device. Is someone? Let me see. Is someone clicking on the is someone clicking on the dashboard? Because it looks like my lights. Yeah. So there we go. Is anyone? Yeah, I guess one way I can do this so that you can see the link is to uh, let's see. Let's do this. I can make the link bigger. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. I can. Yeah, I can. I can read the. I can read the link. So I'm assuming that you guys can too. I'm assuming that you can read the link in the upper left. So was anyone able to pull up on a desktop with the mouse? Okay. So Mag, you got it. Are you able to click on the kitchen light? Yeah, click on the kitchen light. See that? I'm not sure if you. Okay, so like I said before, if you're on a touch device, it might not be able to pick it up because I didn't tie touch events to it. It looks like someone turned on the bedroom light. Oh, the page won't load. Interesting. So you got it, but the page won't load. Now, Mag, are you on Chrome? Okay. Let me see here. Let's bring this back up. Okay. Let's put this back up so you can see both of the images. Okay, so I lost my main camera again. So hopefully you can at least see the image. But right now, so just to understand, this software uses JavaScript, it uses CSS, it uses PHP, it's using React. So there are a lot of components that had to come together to complete this project. I've been working on this project probably for over 2 years when it comes to this type of version, but I've been using like a skeleton version of it for over six. And I thought, it's time to take this to the next level, and that's what I did. And that's why I have this right now. Um, let's see here. Later on, at the end of this video, give me about 5 minutes. I'm going to put up a link, and in that link, you can email me. Tell me if you're interested in this project and what you would like to see. Also, too, if you are a particle user, I will give you a copy of my plugin, no charge. Now, for that, I would like at least for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as provide me with feedback. I want to know the bugs you have. I want to know the complications that you're having, and also too, I want to know if you like it or not. I want to do whatever I can to make this tool better, because this tool will allow developers, makers, DIYers to be able to present their data, not just visualize it, but illustrate it. That's the idea, that the data can be illustrated. No longer will your projects be kept in the closet because the interface is just gauges and charts and tables. Now you will be able to illustrate your data. So I'm very excited, and I hope you are. So I'm going to end it here, and I thank everyone for being patient with me and for sticking with me to the end. And this will be available, even though it's probably a total disaster, but at least it was done, and at least now you know that this whole time when I've been talking about it and working on a project, that it has been I was actually working on it. Okay. So take care. I'll try to bring my image up one last time. It's probably going to take me a little while. Give me 15 or 20 seconds. Okay. 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 So hopefully you can see me. So at least I can say goodbye to you without you just looking at a screen. Okay, so thank you again for sticking around. And like I said before, give me about 5 minutes. I'll put a link in the description below the video, so that you can email me and let me know if you're interested and that you do want to have a copy of this program. And what I will need to do is do another video. I'm not sure I would do it live, but I would do another video and take you from A to Z on how to install the whole thing. I would take you on how to install WordPress, how to get your account set up, how to get your WordPress installed. I will also take you to the themes that you can choose from, and then how to install my plugin and how to use it. There are quite a few steps really, but they're not difficult. And the reason why is that WordPress, like I said, is used by over 33% of the websites in the world. So there are like abundant of information about WordPress. I mean, you can search and look anywhere, and you'll find tutorials on everything. And then you come to understand why WordPress is used. And and at that point, once you get my plugin, was another nice things too. Like, so the house plan, that the plants, you can view them as templates. So if another developer, another maker, another DIYer had a image or a template that you like, all you need to do is say, hey, can you send me that template? Can I use it too for my project? You can take that image and you can load it into this plugin, And then that plugin will allow you to animate any element, change the color, change the position, rotate it, scale it, slide it, whatever you want to do from your particle device. Like I said, your particle device is what controls that image. And so we are no longer confined to any design that is dictated by a manufacturer or by another engineer or by a designer. Now you can design it yourself. Oh yeah, I forgot one little thing. The way you design these images is that you can use, there are two different software packages that I have used. There's actually a third way. Okay, you can either use Adobe Illustrator, which can also which can work on SVGs, or you can use Inkscape. Okay, so Inkscape is a free software that allows you to build SVG images. Okay, and I have used that in this project. I have done it for mostly the plants, but for the house plan, I prefer to use Adobe Illustrator. And I will explain that in another video. So you use those two programs to build your images. People use the same programs to make game boards. So when I say that, I mean your possibility is endless of what you want to do. Okay, what I did was just touch the surface. I even barely touched the surface of what can be done, because as we move forward with just the features that I added to this, you are going to be amazed of what you can do with it. I'm hoping that my next project be a little bit more sophisticated, so that you would see, hey, you know, this is really something here. Okay, and so like I said before, those are like the two main programs that I recommend to learn if you want to do your own design. Now, third way is to take it off the internet. Okay, so you can search the internet and just look for SVGs, and almost any SVG can be used. You might have to modify it a little bit or not. But the plant was actually an SVG image that I took off of Google Image. And then what I did was I just modified it for me. You know, I modified the size of the pot, because once you have that image, I can scale it, I can stretch it, I can move things around, and then after I get the pot I want, I can just duplicate it. So I took that one pot and I duplicated it 3 times. And then when I duplicated it, the software automatically assigned different IDs to each element. And then once I get those IDs, this program will target that ID and say, hey, I want that element to change color. Hey, I want that element to change shape. Hey, I want that element to change position. And all of that is controlled by your particle photon. Okay, I've done enough talking, and I'll see you guys later. And hopefully you will stay with me on this journey of able to allow people like you and I to illustrate our data and not just visualize it. Thank you again. Okay. See you guys later. Bye.